Do you have a Maverick Sport? Are you looking to reduce your steering effort and eliminate bump steer? Well, SuperATV's got the fix with our Easy Steer power steering unit, and today we're going to show you how to get it installed. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and remove our hardware securing our steering shaft to our rack and pinion. I just got an extension here with a wobble on the end of it. I'm going to slide it right up underneath my A-arm, over top the rack boot. We'll get right on the nut, just like that. And I'm going to reach through with a 13mm wrench. Then once you got it loose, you'll just go ahead and completely remove your hardware. So once we've removed our hardware from our steering shaft, we're going to come inside the machine. So we're going to go ahead and remove this pod here, the cover. Will be 2 T20 screws. We'll go ahead and remove them. Grab a pod. Take it straight up. Like that. Got our hardware in here and we'll set it up here. And there's going to be a plug on the back here. We'll want to go ahead and remove it as well. So remove that. There'll be a push pin right here. Just want to remove it from the frame. You can just leave your plug hang for now. We may end up having to slide it out of the way momentarily. And then we're going to go to right here on the steering wheel. We'll take a flathead screwdriver, slide it in here, remove the cap. And we'll take a 24mm and remove our nut. Off our steering wheel, just like that. Whenever I do these, I like to take one hammer, lay it on the actual shaft, and then take another one and just smack it. Sometimes if you get a little bit less of an angle on it. So in addition to using both the hammers, you may have to use a little bit of lubricant if your steering wheel is giving you troubles. Once you've got your steering wheel removed, we'll go ahead and remove this snap ring right here. We'll just get a pair of snap ring pliers and pop it off there real quick. So once we've done that, we will get a 13mm socket and a 13mm wrench. We'll come right down here to the side bolts. Get our wrench, put them on the inside. Get our socket. We'll go ahead and completely remove the hardware. And we'll come over here to the other side and do the same exact thing. Then once you got both your bolts removed, you can just take your unit here, let it hang down, and then we'll remove our tilt adjuster down here. You can go ahead and do that. We'll just pick up on the adjuster, move the hardware just like that. We can slide our shaft out. Next thing we're going to do is go ahead and grab our steering shaft and pull it through the firewall there. And now we have our steering shaft completely removed. And it's time to install our new Easy Steer power steering unit. The next thing we're going to do is grab our lower steering shaft. We're going to find the lower portion of it, which will have the bigger of the two splines. As you can see, that's big spline there. We get the smaller splines, the big spline. We're going to slide it right down through here and right through the grommet. we're going to go back to the front of the machine and attach our lower steering shaft to the rack and pinion. So the next thing we're going to do is grab our bracket for our motor and get it installed. The way you want to install it is just to slide your wiring harness through this hole right here. You'll get it lined up with the 3 threaded holes on the motor, just like this. And then in the small hardware bag, you'll see you got 2 small screws and then 3 10mm headed screws. You just want to go ahead and get them slid into position here. Get them all started. Now you do have a little bit of adjustability here with this bracket. What we're going to go ahead and do is just set it right in the center and we'll tighten it up, and if we have to make adjustments, we'll just have to come back through and loosen them and then set it to where it needs to be. Alright, so now we're ready to get our motor installed. We want to make sure that this side is facing downward and then this side right here is facing up. So now we're going to come down here to our lower steering shaft and we're going to go ahead and remove the bolt out of the shaft, just like that. I'm going to go ahead and get this shaft kind of positioned where I can grab a hold of it and slide it up onto my power steering unit. And take our unit here, slide it back and behind through the frame here like that. We're going to grab our lower steering shaft here and get it slid onto the power steering unit. Then once we got it started onto the shaft, we're going to grab these 2 short M8 bolts with 2 of our M8 lock washers. We're going to come through the holes in the frame back here on the back, and we're going to start them right into the bracket that's attached to the power steering motor. We'll just get it slid up here into position. Then we're going to grab this bracket right here and then 2 of our M8s nylock nuts. We'll take one of them, slide it into position just like this. Slide one of our bolts through. Start our nut on the back side. And we'll come down here to the bottom. We'll get it in position here. We'll go ahead and slide our bolt through. Like that. Come around to the back side. Get our nut started. Just like that. And we'll fully tighten these 2 bolts, as well as the 2 bolts that we started on the back side. And we'll go ahead and reinstall our bolt into our lower steering shaft, connecting it to the power steering motor. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is come right here. We're going to slide this plug out of the way. We'll just let it sit over there for just a minute. We're going to grab our bracket for our ECU. We're going to grab both of our M10 bolts and nuts, just like this. We'll go ahead and get the nuts off and get them ready to go. We're going to take those. So next we're gonna go ahead and grab our ECU harness here. As you can see, we have a hot and a ground and then a keyed on source. This is gonna plug into the factory plug up underneath the dash. This one will go on the ground terminal, this one on the hot terminal. So if you look directly up underneath your dash here, you're gonna see your bus bar or your terminal here. The far right plug is the ground, the center is the all-time hot, and then the white plug attached underneath the dash is our keyed on power source. This is our ground, this is our hot, and this is our keyed on power source. So we went ahead and fully tightened our ECU bracket here. Have the two 15mm bolts and nuts. And we're gonna route all of our wiring right over into this location here. That way we can get everything plugged into our ECU. So we're just gonna take this harness here, run it right over the top, back and behind. So now all of our wiring's hanging down here. All of these are gonna plug directly into the ECU. So each of these plugs are different. There's really no way to mess it up. You just literally go through, plug them in, make sure that they snap. You want to hear that snap every single time. So just a quick. Last but not least, we'll plug this one in. Let's go through, double check all the connections here, make sure everything's nice and tight. Then we're going to take the ECU and lay it up here on the bracket, and as you can see there's two threaded holes on the back side. We want to line those two threaded holes up and we'll install the hardware. Do these two smaller bolts here. And we'll just want to go ahead and fully tighten the hardware. Now it's going to be time to grab our upper steering shaft. So what we'll do here, we'll just go ahead and remove this bolt. Let's go ahead and take our steering shaft, slide it onto the top side of the power steering motor. It should just wiggle right on. Just like that, there we go. And we'll just go ahead and get it realigned. Get our bolt slid through there. Once we get our bolt in there, we can go ahead and fully tighten that bolt. Get that fully tightened there. So now, what we're gonna do is, we're gonna go ahead and grab our steering column. We're gonna slide our steering shaft through. Just get it slid into position here. Slide our bolts through. On either side. And we went ahead and routed our harness back up through here. This time you'll want to go ahead and take care of that. Alright, so we got both of our bolts started through. So we'll just want to reach up through here. Go ahead and get our nuts started on both of them. Once our nuts are started, we'll go ahead and fully tighten the hardware there. We're going to get our factory snap ring. We're going to go ahead and get it slid all the way up here. We're going to slide it all the way up into the groove here. Then we're going to flip this down here, just like that. Our shock adjuster, we'll go ahead and get it reinstalled into position. We'll take our Allen, Get it slid through. Get our nut on the opposite side. Just like that. Then we're going to go ahead and plug the harness back into our pod here. And we'll go ahead and reinstall the pod. Just like that. And let's go ahead and install our retainer here. Then we're going to go ahead and grab our steering wheel. We'll get it kind of slid into position here. And we're going to go out here and we're going to look and we're going to make sure that our tires are straight. So right there, the tires look straight. If we get our steering wheel installed and they're not perfectly straight, we can go back through and double check it. You know, take a tape measure side to side and make sure they're centered, and then adjust on our steering wheel. We'll go ahead and remove the steering wheel now. Get it slid on here. Really straight, just like that. We'll go ahead and get our nut. Get it started. Take our impact. We'll go ahead and get it tightened up. There we go. And we'll take our cap. Go ahead and get it reinstalled here. Just like that. Once you've went through, tied up all your wiring, made sure all your hardware is tight, that's all there is to it. That's how super quick and easy it is to install SuperATV's Easy Steer Power Steering Unit on a Can-Am Maverick Trailer Sport. For more information on our Easy Steer or any of SuperATV's great products, feel free to give us a call at 855-743-3427 or check us out online at superatv.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.